10,779 seats, sold out by Wednesday night, for a doubles match. Not a final, not even a singles semifinal. A first-round doubles match that, weeks earlier, wasn't even guaranteed to happen at all. Something strange was building in Toronto, and by the time the lights came up over Sobeys Stadium, everyone inside it understood they weren't just watching two players walk onto a court. They were watching two decisions collide, one made in Washington out of respect, and one made in Toronto out of hunger. Weeks before, in the middle of the DC Open, a 21-year-old Filipina rising star named Alex Eala had done something that looked, on paper, like sabotage to her own doubles career. She withdrew, not because of injury, not because of a scheduling conflict. She pulled herself out of the doubles draw entirely. And the reason she gave was almost uncomfortably honest. She said she had so much respect for her partner, a legend, a 7-time Grand Slam singles champion, a 14-time Grand Slam doubles champion, that she didn't feel right giving her anything less than everything. "I do think this is my first week coming back," she explained. "And Venus is someone who deserves a partner who can give their all physically, emotionally, and mentally when they're on court with her." That was the sentence that should have ended this story. A 21-year-old, stepping back from a legend, out of deference. Except it didn't end there. It became the hinge the entire story turned on, because with the doubles slot empty, Eala funneled everything into singles. And what she did next wasn't just good. It was the kind of run that rewires a career overnight. She beat Alicia Parks. She beat players who had stood on Olympic podiums. She beat a defending champion. She beat a 4-time Grand Slam winner. And in the final, she beat Jessica Pegula, the world number 3, to win her first ever WTA singles title. She didn't just win a tournament. She climbed to a career-high ranking of world number 20, and she did it in the same stretch of days where she told her own doubles partner to sit this one out. So here's the question nobody was asking out loud yet. What happens when the player who stepped away to protect a partnership suddenly becomes good enough to elevate it? Toronto was about to answer that. But there's a second question buried underneath the first one, and it's the one that makes this whole thing worth paying attention to. Withdrawing from a doubles draw to protect a partner's experience is one kind of decision. It's generous, it's self-aware, and on tour, it's rare enough to be noticed. But what does it say when the player who made that sacrifice comes back weeks later, not just as a participant, but as the reason a stadium sells out? The dynamic between Williams and Eala had quietly flipped. In Washington, Eala was the one worried about not being enough for her partner. In Toronto, organizers were moving matches to bigger courts because of her. When the Canadian Open handed out its final doubles wildcard, it didn't go to a pair of journeymen filling out a bracket. It went to Venus Williams and Alex Eala together for only the second time. Tournament director Carl Hale didn't undersell what that meant. "It's going to be a special moment," he said, "when the two step onto Sobeys Stadium for the first time as a partnership." Notice the wording. Not for the first time this tournament. For the first time as a partnership, because this wasn't their debut. It was their second attempt. And everyone who'd seen the first attempt knew exactly why the second one mattered so much more. Rewind to Bad Homburg. On grass, weeks before any of this, that was where Williams and Eala first shared a court together. And the chemistry was immediate and almost unsettling in how natural it looked. They opened by dismantling Alexandra Osborne and Catherine Harrison 6-3, 6-4, racing out to an early 4-0 lead that announced, without saying a word, that this pairing wasn't a novelty act. It was real tennis. They kept winning all the way to the quarterfinals, where they finally ran into a pair that had something they didn't have yet: mileage. Olivia Nichols and Teresa Mihalikova had played 9 consecutive tournaments together. 9. That's not chemistry. That's muscle memory built over months. And it was enough to end the Dream Team's first run. But Williams walked away from that loss saying something that, in hindsight, sounded less like consolation and more like a promise. "We had a great start. We played really well," she said. "I think as a team, if we had a chance to play often, then I think we could play really well." A legend, calmly stating that this partnership hadn't even scratched its ceiling yet. Now Toronto was giving them the chance to prove it, and standing in their way were two players with exactly the kind of experience that had beaten them in Bad Homburg. Miyu Kato and Liudmila Samsonova weren't a wild card curiosity. They were a genuine threat, with 3 WTA doubles titles won together, 2 of them on hard courts, the same surface waiting for them at Sobeys Stadium. Kato, the crafty Japanese left-hander, who lived at the net and read a rally before it happened. Samsonova, the powerful Russian baseliner who could end a point in a single stroke. Individually dangerous. Together, seasoned. This was the exact profile of opponent that had ended the Dream Team's run once already. A pairing whose cohesion had been built through repetition, not star power. And this time. The stakes weren't a first tournament together on an unfamiliar surface. This time, there was a stadium involved. Consider what Kato and Samsonova actually represented walking into that match. 2 hardcore titles as a team means they'd already solved problems together that Williams and Eala hadn't even encountered yet. How to cover for each other after a bad game. How to reset after losing a set. How to read each other's body language without a word exchanged between points. That kind of understanding doesn't come from talent. It comes from time. And time was the one resource the Dream Team didn't have on their side, no matter how much natural chemistry they'd shown in Bad Homburg. When word got out that Eala and Williams had the wild card, the response wasn't gradual, it was immediate. The match had originally been slated for a smaller court, the kind of scheduling decision you make for a first-round doubles pairing that nobody expects to draw a crowd. That plan collapsed within days. More than 5,000 tickets sold before organizers had even confirmed which court the match would be played on. The Filipino community, Hale said, had been calling the tournament for months, asking one question: when is Eala playing? By Wednesday night, the match was sold out. Organizers had no choice. They moved Williams and Eala to center court into a 10,700-seat stadium for a first-round doubles match. Hale's assessment of what that represented for Eala was blunt. "Alex is an absolute blessing to the sport of tennis at our tournament," he said. "It's an amazing tournament to have. Her here playing singles and doubles with Venus." But here's the detail that made Thursday night different from anything either player had experienced in Bad Homburg. Eala wasn't walking into this match fresh. Hours before she was due on center court for doubles, she had just finished a brutal 3-set singles battle against Alicia Parks, grinding out a 6-1, 4-6, 6-2 win that took everything out of her physically. Think about the math of that day. A 3-set war in the afternoon. A legend waiting for her in the evening. A sold-out stadium in between. Most 21-year-olds would be forgiven for treating that night's doubles match as an afterthought, a formality to survive rather than a moment to seize. Eala had already told reporters what kind of competitor she'd become through that DC Open run. "I ended the tournament in better shape than I started," she'd said. "Each match I kept improving and kept learning things about myself." That wasn't a throwaway line. It was about to be tested in real time on a stage far bigger than the one where she said it. Before the match, Eala talked about what playing alongside Williams again actually meant to her, and it wasn't framed as a favor or an honor in the hollow, ceremonial sense. It sounded like genuine hunger. "I'm really, really excited to be playing doubles with her again," she said. "Every opportunity one get to share the court with her is super cherished. She's got a great mentality, and there's so much I can learn from her." She added that between the Filipino fans and Williams's own following, the atmosphere was going to be something special. She had no idea, at that point, just how literally that would come true. There's something worth sitting with in the fact that she used the word cherished to describe playing with a 46-year-old across the net from her, not honored or grateful in the usual media-trained sense. Cherished is a word for something that feels finite, something you know won't last forever. And maybe that's exactly what made her play the way she was about to play. Like someone who understood the clock on this particular version of the partnership and refused to waste a single point of it. When the lights finally came up and the two of them walked onto Sobeys Stadium together, Philippine flags were moving through the stands in every section. Chants of Eala's name rolled across the crowd before the first ball was even struck. And right there is where the story shifts, because what happened over the next two sets wasn't a feel-good exhibition riding on crowd energy. It was a genuine tactical battle against two players who had come to win, not to be extras in someone else's highlight reel. The first set became a statement in itself. Eala, running on adrenaline and the confidence of a newly minted WTA champion, played like a woman who'd forgotten she'd spent her afternoon in a three-set war. Williams anchored the baseline with the same poise that had carried her to 14 Grand Slam doubles titles alongside her sister, dictating rallies, controlling tempo, doing exactly what a 14-time major champion does under pressure. Make it look calm. Eala's court coverage and her willingness to crash the net gave Williams the freedom to play from behind, controlling points without having to cover every inch of the court herself. It was the same chemistry from Bad Homburg, except sharper, faster, more assured. The difference between a first meeting and a partnership that had already survived a loss together and learned something from it. Kato and Samsonova didn't fold. They're not a pairing that folds. 3 titles together don't happen to players who fold. In the second set, they pushed back, using exactly the kind of cohesion and experience that had eliminated Williams and Eala in Bad Homburg, testing whether the dream team's chemistry could hold up against sustained pressure, rather than just an opening burst of momentum. This was the moment that mattered more than the crowd noise, more than the flags.